Good evening and welcome to our webinar with one of our lovely students, Nur. Nur is actually a co-op student joining us from the Mental Health and Disability Management program at Mohawk College. She graduated with a bachelor's in psychology and sociology in 2017 from Sir Wilfrid Laurier University. Today, Nur is giving a brief introduction to mindfulness with the stress and uncertainty that she has noticed with the people in her life. She hopes this introduction will help our members find ways to cope with the stress of COVID and find ways to enjoy the simple pleasures in life. Welcome, Nur.
Hello. Thank you for that introduction, Melissa. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
And
it's great to have you.
Okay, so I'll try not to get giggly. Thank you to everyone who showed up and anyone who's going to be popping up throughout. So before I get started, I want to share a story that happened in the last couple weeks, just to give you an understanding of why I've written down this preface. So a couple weeks ago, I was working on this presentation and I lost the whole presentation. So that kind of sent my body into an overload of stress and freaking out. That on top of work and relationship issues, I realized just how important mindfulness is, which is hilarious because a presentation on stress reduction actually stressed me out more than I was expecting it to. But I learned a lot from this presentation, or from creating this presentation. So I would like to preface this by saying that I'm not a mindfulness expert whatsoever. I haven't studied it in any kind of, I haven't studied it in depth at all, except for the last few weeks when I've been preparing this. The main reason I approached Melissa with mindfulness therapy for this webinar is because, like Melissa said before, COVID has been an issue for everyone. We've all been, I feel like a lot of us have been stressed out and overwhelmed with what's happening in the world. So hopefully we get something out of this presentation. And I know by creating it and going through that stressful time and using some of these techniques that I've learned, I've definitely seen the benefits of mindfulness, and I hope that you will too. This is not an in-depth introduction. It's just here's something to learn. Either you've heard of mindfulness before or you haven't, or at least, sorry, if you haven't heard of mindfulness before, at least this will give you an introduction. If you have heard of mindfulness before this, but you were like, I don't think it's for me, maybe this will push you in a direction to give it a try. So with that in mind, we will go ahead. So what is mindfulness? Mindfulness practices can be traced back 2,500 years ago to the teachings of Buddha, and it was adapted by molecular biologist Jon Kabat-Zinn in 1979. He looked at mindfulness with a scientific lens and defined it as an ability to pay attention in a specific way, without judgment. 21st century lifestyles are characterized by stress, impatience, and constant stimulation. As we go about our mundane and repetitive tasks like folding clothes or driving to the grocery store or your office duties, our minds are disengaged. But if you do something new and exciting, you tend to be mentally engaged and in the moment. Mindfulness is the moment-by-moment awareness of our thoughts, feelings, and experiences and environment. These practices help your mind harness its own strength and energies and anchors you to the present moment. Mindfulness also helps us access and conserve our mental resources, encouraging growth and healing. So Buddha's mindfulness practices has 3 overarching purposes. Mindfulness begins with getting to know your mind and understanding your inner motivation. It is about self-discovery without judging yourself or your thoughts. You simply observe your feelings, thoughts, and reactions without criticizing. The second purpose of mindfulness is to train your mind to live in the present moment with awareness. You train your mind to accept things as they are instead of trying to control external events. The final purpose of mindfulness is to free your mind from negative opinions, judgments, and possessions. When your mind is free, you become more focused, creative, and relaxed, while a lack of mindfulness can make us careless and prone to mistakes and oversight, contributing to fatigue and insomnia. According to Buddhist mindfulness, clinging to thoughts, ideas, feelings, opinions, or judgments are the cause of all discontent and suffering. Like I said before, the 21st century lifestyle means we are constantly overstimulated. We don't allow ourselves to be bored, and when things don't go our way, how we expect them to go, we tend to get stressed out and impatient. Constant overstimulation has eroded our ability to quiet our minds, relate to our families, enjoy quality time with friends and family. We are so overstimulated that most of us can't be still for even 5 minutes without some kind of technological interaction, to the point where mobile and internet usage was like substance abuse when seen in the light of addictive behavior. And especially now with COVID, we've been spending a lot of times on our computer, either with webinars like this or with work, or if we're trying to connect with our friends and family because we can't see them in person. We're spending a lot of time on our phones and on our laptops. This chaotic state of mind makes it difficult to live in the present moment. When you practice mindfulness, you'll be able to savor every moment. It connects you with what you're doing and feeling while controlling your thoughts from scattering all over the place instead of being absent while being physically present. It intentionally focuses your awareness and attention on yourself and your surroundings so that you can perceive reality without the distortion of personal bias or emotion. So the benefits of mindfulness, and I feel like we all need all of this right now, and especially me because I haven't slept in about 3 days, except for the 1 hour I got earlier today. Benefits include less frequency and duration of illness, enhanced immunity, improved digestion and quality of sleep, improved cognitive functioning, including memory, concentration, creativity, and imagination. Reduces levels of irritability, impatience, anxiety, and depression, creates more harmonious relationships, and calms the mind, slows down the breathing, and releases stress. Pain is a sensation that isn't felt by us until it's interpreted by the brain, and awareness helps shift the brain's interpretation in positive ways. Negative thoughts are unhelpful in easing pain, while also aggravating mental stresses like depression and anxiety. Heightened emotions tend to disturb the mind, aggravating the condition. Primary suffering is the actual pain that you are feeling, while secondary suffering is a mix of thoughts, feelings, and emotions. Mindfulness techniques can help to alter the mind's relationship to pain and control the information that it sends to the brain. It aims to dissolve the state of secondary suffering and creates a path away from the brain. Someone suffering from pain may be under the impression that they are in pain all day, but when they choose to become consciously aware of it, they realize the pain surfaces, peaks and ebbs away throughout the day, which as a result helps to relieve anxiety. So I'm going to share 2 kinds of mindfulness-based interventions today. Mindfulness techniques are designed to help participants manage life's challenges in a way that helps them to process stress without enlarging the problem. These interventions tend to be 8 to 10 week programs and are structured with mindfulness as the basic component and are designed to wake the inner self as life unfolds every minute. Mindfulness-based cognitive therapy is used to is used to treat different forms of depression, including residual depression, acute depression, bipolar disorder, and generalized anxiety disorder. MBCT is designed to prevent relapse of depressive states, and participants learn to process difficult emotions. Learn to process difficult emotions, feelings, and thought processes. While mindfulness-based stress reduction, on the other hand, was developed to reduce the stress associated with illness or injury. So if you have a brain injury, for instance, you're probably going to go into a mindfulness-based stress reduction therapy. The underlying objective of both therapies is to help participants manage life's challenges in a way that helps them process stress without enlarging the problem. So MBCT is a combination of psychoeducation, meditation practices, and yoga. The main area of focus with MBCT is to train people to transform their relationships with their thoughts, emotions, and bodily sensations so that they learn to respond rather than give in to their feelings and follow their mood. This therapy asks participants to imagine a stressful scenario and then observe the thoughts that come to mind. So for Melissa, for instance, when she was talking about being afraid of heights, this is kind of what they're talking about. Cognitive therapy is structured to reveal the patterns of negative thought processes to which certain people appear to be vulnerable. It's effective for people who are prone to negative thinking that is not related to a specific life event. These negative perceptions include thoughts like, I'm a failure, nothing I do is right, nobody likes or respects me, I'm not worthy of success or respect. Whenever something goes wrong, these thoughts dominate the mind and send the individual into a self-perpetuating cycle of depression and anxiety. MBCT aims to instill confidence in people to enable them to process difficult moods and thoughts in a positive manner. So I'm sure we've all been stressed out in some way at some time in our lives. So the negative effects of stress include feeling irritable, annoyed, and constantly agitated, becoming defensive, confrontational, and argumentative, low levels of energy where you wake up feeling tired, an inability to concentrate and a lack of focus, headaches and migraines, repression of feelings, and feeling frenetic and restless. Stress releases a hormone called cortisol, aka epinephrine. It is responsible for increasing heart rate, breathing, and adrenaline flow. And it comes with an increased risk of health problems, including heart disease. Cortisol regulates the immune system, leading the nervous system to instruct the immune system to reduce its activity level so that energy and nutritional resources are directed towards more important bodily functions. Regular meditation has the potential to reduce stress by inducing relaxation response, which helps control the cortisol levels in the body, and the immune system response is improved. Or that's the theory, at least. This brings us to our second intervention. Mindfulness-based stress reduction is classified as acceptance and commitment therapy, in which participants accept sensations, including mental and physical pain, and commit to continue therapy without falling prey to distraction. With mindfulness-based reduction therapy, you have the potential to become more self-aware, less stressed, and develop better coping skills to deal with stressful thoughts. You're also better able to choose your responses to thoughts and feelings while also learning to be kinder and more compassionate to others and to yourself, which is very important when it comes to mindfulness-based therapies because it's all about non-judgment. So MBCR training tends to be looked at like a wave. Sorry. MBCR training looks at negative emotions like worries, anxieties, and fear like a wave. You're trained to be aware of the wave of emotion that builds as it approaches and then breaks. You're expected to ride out the emotion and expect the other emotions to follow. So the best way to describe it is if you're there and you're feeling angry and you just let that wave of anger come and hit you and then you let it go. But then you know that there's going to be another emotion coming up to you. So same thing. Think of that emotion, acknowledge it, and let it go. The first technique, and probably the most used in these courses, is mindful breathing. With mindful breathing, you simply focus your attention on your breath without changing its natural rhythm and flow. It helps reduce anxiety by decreasing negative self-image. People with highly critical self-image tend to experience social dysfunction. When you're stressed out, anxious, or panicked, your breath tends to become shallow and fast, or you forget to breathe entirely. When you take slow, deep, focused breaths, you allow your body to resist the fight or flight response, take in more oxygen, and allow your muscles to fully relax and release endorphins, which calms the body and eases pain. The oxygen that pours into your body with mindful breathing can result in higher levels of stamina and improve mental abilities like concentration and memory. Mindfulness breathing, however, can be difficult for beginners. The biggest challenge you'll face with mindfulness meditation and breathing is that you may feel bored, restless, or uncomfortable. You might think that there are a million things you could be doing right now that's more productive with your time. You could be doing the dishes, you could be folding laundry, you could be watching TV if you've had a rough week and you just want to sit there and watch TV. So what do? Don't dwell on or react to these sensations or thoughts. Observe them, acknowledge them, and return your attention back to your breathing. By returning to the present moment, we are exercising a choice. Regular meditation practices will help you learn and stay focused on the present moment without feeling compelled to dwell on the past or contemplate the future. Hatha Yoga is another technique that is used both with mindfulness-based cognitive therapy and with mindfulness-based stress reduction therapy. The objective is to combine physical stretches with breathing awareness to connect the mind, body, and spirit. It enhances awareness of bodily sensations, including any pain or tension that you're feeling. It's known to be a portal of wholeness and freedom from pain and suffering, and it is a path towards creating balance and uniting opposites. Breath control is the core of Hatha Yoga, helps release latent stress and hidden pain while promoting physical and mental well-being. I do believe Melissa mentioned to me last week that there is a Hatha Yoga program with BIST. So I do encourage you to check it out if you haven't already done so. The benefits of Hatha Yoga: it reduces blood glucose and cholesterol, improves immune function, improves weight loss, and that's supposed to say waist to hip ratio, reduced anxiety and depression, improved blood flow to help muscles relax, and increase ability to release stressful thoughts, improve mood, and coping skills. So I don't know if anyone's ever seen these bars before, but they're a lot of fun to make. So I have one here and I use it all the time. And I used it a lot a couple weeks ago when I was feeling especially stressed. A mindfulness jar is a clear glass jar or bottle filled with water, dish soap, and glitter or glitter glue. Glitter jars act as a visual metaphor for expressing how you're feeling. The glitter represents your thoughts, feelings, and behavior. And when you're feeling angry or upset, shake the jar. Watch the glitter settle to the bottom of the jar. The theory is that as the glitter settles, so will your mind. I don't think I put enough glitter in mine. I don't know if you guys can see that. But as the glitter settles down, your anger or whatever is upsetting you is supposed to slowly melt away with the glitter as it settles. And I forgot to mention before, I have a few cats. So if you hear any screaming, that's because they're expecting their dinner. All right, so mindfulness and brain injury. Stress management is an important skill when it comes to coping with life changes, and brain injury is a huge life change. Traumatic brain injury changes how messages are communicated between nerve cells in the brain, making reacting appropriately to the environment difficult. Mindfulness training helps keep head trauma patient participants on the present moment and focused. Remaining mindful and keeping the focus inside the body is helpful during physical rehabilitation because the mind-body connection is stronger. It lowers fatigue and anxiety, improves working memory and ability to manage time, including organizing tasks, making decisions, and solving problems. Long-term practice of meditation has shown to improve overall mood, including greater emotional stability, the ability to accept emotional states like anger, sadness, joy, happiness, excitement. It creates awareness in the moment and the ability to deal with negative emotions, decreasing the development of depressive states. When healing from brain injury, staying in the moment and allowing the brain to be present with mindful eating or walking stimulates those nerve cells. So mindful eating slows down the eating process and encourages you to enjoy a good meal. This contributes to stress reduction, which is an important element in the recovery process. So when they talk about mindful eating, one of the examples that they use a lot is the raisin, actually, because raisins are very textured. So when it comes to mindfully eating a raisin, you would look at the raisin and feel the texture, feel all of the bumps and grooves on that raisin, slowly put it on your mouth. How does it feel? How does the texture feel on your tongue and between your lips, on the roof of your mouth? When you bite down, is it sour? Is it sweet? Don't judge it as something that is good or bad. Just acknowledge that there is a flavor there. That's how they encourage you to do that with any food that you eat, but the raisin is the one that they use an example quite a bit. So if you're anything like me and you're not good at standing still, usually with stuff like this, I would be pacing back and forth around my room. You could do some mindful walking instead of mindful meditation or mindful breathing. So during mindful walking, you are maintaining an awareness of the breath in your body and paying particular attention to coordination, balance, the feel of the ground under your feet, and the air on your skin. Your brain slows its thoughts to remain in the present moment and see, hear, and feel everything. So when you're mindfully walking, you're thinking of your feet on the ground. How do your feet feel on the ground? As you start to walk, you're paying attention to your gait, you're paying attention to the feeling in your calves and thighs and your hip movement and your arms. You're paying attention to the area around you. How does the air feel on your skin? What are the sounds and smells that you're experiencing? And that kind of thing. It retrains your brain to stay in the moment and take in more relevant information. So there is some evidence that meditation may benefit individuals with TBI, especially when a traditional mindfulness-based stress reduction program is modified. Individuals with mild TBI have experienced improvements in quality of life, memory, depression, and regulation of attention after 10 to 12 weeks of training and practice. Programs focus on meditation, breathing exercises, guided visualization, and reframing the TBI through acceptance. Meditation can positively impact one's ability to sustain focused attention and cognitive efficiency. And the ability of someone with a TBI to meditate and or benefit from meditation may depend on the type and severity of the TBI. People with mild TBIs are more likely to benefit from mindfulness-based therapies than people with more severe TBIs, but there's also not enough research on that yet. So there are a few studies that have been done. In 2015, a study on military vets with traumatic brain injury. Mindfulness training was found to improve attention span and reduce symptoms of PTSD. The benefits were still present after a 3-month follow-up. Another study modified MBSR to make it more applicable to a population of individuals with TBI. These individuals had mild TBIs. There was an emphasis on processing the experiences with a 1-hour teaching meditation and 1 hour of getting feedback and helping participants connect the dots about what they were experiencing. They learned to meditate, and that affected their ability to maintain their attention, which resulted in improved memory and cognitive functioning. One note that they did add is that it wasn't the intervention that they found effective. It was the fact that participants were provided with a tool that allowed for processing of a string of painful experiences. So while the participants still felt the headaches and other physical symptoms of their TBI, they were better able to process that pain and the secondary pain that we talked about earlier. So physical symptoms didn't change, but emotional ones did. They complained less about frustration, irritability, and anxiety. The headaches and sensory symptoms didn't diminish, but they learned to deal with them better, like I said earlier. The gains in self-efficacy, problem solving, perceived quality of life, and self-regulation. Strong relaxation and stress reduction quality, which lowered cortisol levels, which affected overall recovery from the brain injury. So this is one thing that I do a lot, especially whenever I get a migraine. I like to do a body scan. Mindfulness-based scanning helps identify areas of tension. By focusing the awareness on those areas, they can begin to relax and respond more readily. The goal of mindful body scanning is to break free from repetitive, fearful thoughts and develop greater awareness of the body and space. It helps the mind stop imagining all kinds of complications and difficulties that are not beneficial to the healing process. And when the primary focus is on the body and the thoughts are kept in the background, it becomes easier to sense areas of physical strength, weakness, and tension. Body scanning prior to physical or occupational therapy, especially with TBIs, brings you more directly into the experience and exercises because you are in tune with what your body needs. It helps you understand the nuances of the activities you are learning and allows you to let go of judgmental thoughts. So I got through this presentation way faster than I expected to because I speed talk, I'm sorry. But we are going to do a quick body scan if you guys are interested. So we're going to just click on that and see if it works. Melissa, can you see that?
I cannot. You probably have to switch screens. So turn off screen sharing and then go to the YouTube page and then turn on screen sharing.
The YouTube page.
There we go. Perfect.
Excellent. So I'm going to turn off my camera to help everyone focus and just stay in tune with your body. Sorry about that, everyone. Melissa just let me know that there's no sound. Melissa, do you know how I can allow for sound? I don't have my headphones on, so I'm not sure why it's not working.
Oh, you don't have your headphones on?
No.
Let me take a look at your screen.
Oh, share sound. Found it.
There we go. Because I was gonna say, I can't see anything wrong. It wouldn't be a webinar without a tech difficulty, right?
That's true. Can you hear that?
We can hear it.
Welcome to
Excellent. I'm going to mute myself again and we'll restart. Sorry about that, guys.
State Mind, where we practice mindfulness through meditative states. For today's meditation, we're going to do a 5-minute body scan. Take a moment to allow your body and mind to settle into a state of calm relaxation. A wonderful feeling emerges from the knowledge that you are taking time for yourself. Your mind and body are responding to this gift. Tune in to your natural breath as you begin to sink deeper and deeper into a state of peace. Notice your body in its current position, feeling the weight of your body on the chair or the floor. Take a few deep breaths, breathing in energy and becoming more aware with every exhale. Bring your attention to your feet. Notice the sensations and any points of contact that are present for you. Perhaps the feel of the floor beneath your feet, or the absence of floor, the weight and pressure of your socks or shoes, the temperature, perhaps the feel of the air on your skin. Whatever is present for you. Now notice your legs. Tune in to any points of contact or sensations. Pressure, pulsing, heaviness, lightness. Notice your back. Rest your awareness in the body and stick with whatever sensations arise. Bring your attention to your belly. If your stomach is tense or tight, let it soften. Now notice your hands. Be aware of any sensations that are present. If you notice that your hands are tense or tight, see if you can allow them to soften. Notice your arms. Feel any sensation in your arms. your shoulders relax and feel your body becoming heavier as you become more and more deeply relaxed. Notice your neck and throat, tuning in to whatever is in your direct physical experience. Soften your jaw. Let your face ease into a relaxed expression. Now notice your whole body. Be aware of your whole body as best you can. Notice the difference that these 5 minutes have made. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes.
So I'm just going to give you all another minute to recenter yourselves after that full body scan. How's everyone feeling? So I kind of wish that I had done this body scan before I presented, because I'm a lot more relaxed now than I was half an hour ago. I'm gonna just go back to sharing my presentation.
And if you don't mind me jumping in, or I think you're absolutely correct. Mindfulness helps so many people, a variety of people in a variety of mechanisms throughout their lives, you know, especially if they're presenting. It's
Absolutely. Especially if this is their first kind of big presentation in front of people who they don't know or haven't gone to class with before.
Yes. You're doing fabulous.
I am sorry that that went by so fast. I didn't realize how fast I was talking or just how short my presentation was. This is technically the last slide. I've added some resources for you, most of which are based in Toronto. We have the Mindfulness Toronto, which is a mindfulness-based clinic. I think they do an 8-week mindfulness program. They might be they might be a free program, or they go based on donations. But they also do community meetings online the same way that BIST does. So if you're interested in learning more about mindfulness from somebody who knows a lot more than I do, I encourage you to check them out. There's also the Mindfulness Clinic, which is also based in Toronto. In the Center for Mindfulness Studies, it's a website that has a lot more information. If you're interested in podcasts, the One Mind podcast is a fantastic mindfulness podcast to discuss different mindfulness studies or techniques that come up. I believe once a week they do a mindfulness session where you could do like the full body scan that we just did. There are also a few paid apps that you could get on your phone. Headspace is a great one. I don't know if you see the ads for it. They pop up all the time for me. Unplugged is actually a paid app that my employers have used for us. They purchased a 1-year free membership for all employees to help us relax, and it's such a fantastic app. The Allison Mindfulness meditation course is actually where I got a lot of my information. So if you're interested in a more in-depth learning experience, I highly recommend the Allison program. It is free, so anyone can access it. And then Brainline has some information about how mindfulness can be beneficial to brain injury specifically. And I think that's it on my end. Melissa, anything from you?
I think that's it. I think that was what a great set of resources to end with. And the fact that they're so accessible. I was just kind of entering the chat and I was telling people I may even look into these myself and see how we can bring some more into BIST for our members. As you said, we are providing the weekly yoga sessions, which are fabulous. It's such a great group led by quite an extraordinary member, which is always fabulous to have member-led programming. But it would be really good to take this, and if members are interested, please feel free to call or email me, and I can look at ways that we can start to integrate more of this type of programming into BIST. Thank you so much, Noor.
Thank you. Again, I'm really sorry about how short that was. I know most of your webinars tend to be a little bit longer and more in depth than this.
That's okay. You can end it with a jig, or you can end it with a Q&A, whichever you...
Well, how
you looked a little
Q&A?
Nervous with the jig, right? You look a little nervous.
Just a little bit.
Like, does anybody have anything that they would like to ask or to clarify? Something that maybe was mentioned and you just want a bit of clarification? Or even share some of your own experiences. I know that although mindfulness is relatively new to North America, it's kind of been around, and a lot of people have been able to access it, whether it's in classes or yoga, or even just online on YouTube. So I'm wondering, does anybody have any experiences themselves? No.
I know for me, I've been using a lot of the YouTube resources. Like I really liked that one that that I just showed. And you can find much longer ones too. So if you're looking to do a full meditation, like a full 1-hour meditation, there are some really great ones on YouTube.
Yes, I agree. I actually, during the pandemic, because everything is virtual, I've also moved into the YouTube realm, and it's quite fabulous what's out there, and the quality that's available virtually. Even things like sound baths are there, which is another practice, but it's still based in that mindfulness background. Excuse me, sorry. And then also, as we mentioned before, the yoga class at BIST ends every day with a meditation, a quick, not quick, but I mean a 15-minute guided meditation. So if you are interested in experiencing that, if you're not quite sure about yoga, you can actually just join in at the last 15 minutes of the session, and you can just be there for the meditation portion of the yoga class. So that's also a resource until we can get other things moving.
Absolutely. And I know Spotify and Fitbit I mostly use the Fitbit one because it gets paid for me through work, but Fitbit has a walking mindfulness. So you could always do that. That is a pretty, especially because like I can't sit still. I'm not very good at the sitting down and the mindfulness, breathing and meditation part. So I do my mindfulness when I'm walking, especially because I like to
Yes.
pace around in circles quite a bit.
Meditation is quite interesting too, because you are requiring your body to be still.
Mhm.
And I remember years and years ago when I first started meditation, I was not so sold that it would work out for me so much, because I could quiet my body, but I couldn't quiet my mind. I'm one of those people who I'm quite literally always thinking about a lot of different things all at the same time. And so I thought, it's not going to work for me, until I learned the secret of meditation is that you actually don't have to quiet your mind. And
Yeah.
once you practice enough, your mind will just slowly calm, and then all of those thoughts will separate. And so it's quite interesting how meditation affects you, both biologically and psychologically.
Yeah.
So it's definitely
Actually, from a
something to
lot
do.
of my research, a lot of it was like mindfulness is something that you have to practice. It's not something that you're just going to do one time and you're going to be cured. It's
Yes.
practice, practice, practice. And as weird as a meditation, like practicing meditation sounds, it's true, because you really just can't quiet your mind after one session.
It's so true. Not that I'm still not there though.
Oh God, no.
Even after all these years, I still, there's still a lot of thoughts, but I let them come. And that's the thing. One thing that I've learned with mindfulness is it's not simply pushing out all of those thoughts and feelings and stressors. It's slowing them down so that you can actually look at them and actually process those feelings and those thoughts, so that you can, during your more alert times, you can actually start to work on some of those issues that may be kind of holding you back. Or you may realize that really they're not actually the stressor itself. It's something else. And through this process, you've been able to kind of identify that. If that makes any sense at all.
Makes sense to me. Does it make sense to everyone else?
Maybe we'll have to do a little meditation series and see if we can compare notes. So if everybody is, I'm going to go ahead, and we don't have to leave. I'm just going to shut it down just for recording's sake. But I will just, thank everybody for coming out tonight. Thank you, Nur, for bringing such incredible information and resources to the table, that even myself, I actually was making notes through it. So that's fabulous. Thank you so much. Nur is going to be at BIST until Friday, and then it's her very last day.
Yes, it is.
And so if anybody does want to say goodbye, you can absolutely just email me, and I will forward all of your well wishes and your notes to her. And we're going to wish her all the best in her future endeavors, because the world is her oyster.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Melissa.